Hi, everybody. It's Carolina Millan here today with another episode of our podcast. And today I have a special guest. He is a good friend and he's also been sort of a mentor to me for the little time that we've known each other, Mr. Arttemis Keszainn. How are you, Artemis?
I am excellent. I'm so excited to be here and to bless your community with some knowledge and wisdom today.
Thank you. So, Artemis is a certified life coach and he's also a transformational coach, which we're going to talk a lot about transformation. Artemis is going to share with us his personal story of transformation and how today he's helping people all over the world overcome obstacles in their personal lives, business lives, and also their health. So, just to give people a little bit of background, I just want to mention that Artemis and I met each other last year around October. We were both attending the Growth Summit with Brendan Burchard, Dean Graziosi, and a bunch of other really cool people. It was a great event. And if I have, probably my biggest takeaway from that event was meeting you. I met a couple
Likewise.
of I met a couple other people, but you've made like a long-standing impact, and I'm very happy that we have managed to stay in touch through the months. And we met each other again in March at Funnel Hacking Live at Russell Brunson's event, which was great to see you there once again.
Mhm.
And I've invited Artemis to come to the podcast and share with us what he does, and of course his personal story, so you guys get a little bit of inspiration, because I find it very inspiring as well. So, Artemis, please share with us um, your story, where you come from, and what took you to where you are today.
Awesome. So how long do we have? I'm just kidding. Okay,
As
so
long
I
as you want, my friend.
I was born in Austin, Texas in 1978. I grew up on the standard American diet in Texas
Ooh.
of biscuits and gravy and soft batch cookies in the microwave, gallons of pasteurized, homogenized glow-in-the-dark milk. And by the time I was 20, I was a very pimply, shy, kind of introverted, like geek, and I had eczema all over my body, and I was just really numb. I was just very numb. I didn't want to feel my feelings. The world was a harsh place. I grew up in a single mother family. My mother was living in poverty. A lot of resentment between mom and dad. Never really got to know my dad until like much later in life. So I had a lot of emotional pain, a lot of toxicity, a lot of physical, um, a lot of fear of what others think of me, and very shy, and but also very smart. Like I skipped the second grade, and I graduated at 16 instead of 17 or 18. So like I graduated a year early from high school, and I when I got out of high school, I got into the ceramic arts. I apprenticed under a studio potter and did pottery for 2 years. At the same time, I became a martial artist, and at the time I was doing a lot of drugs because it was more recreational and a peer pressure kind of thing. That was part of me, like helping to my emotional body feel safe and numb, as I just didn't want to feel. So I just got into drug use. But when I got into the martial arts and the healing arts, right around age 22, 23, 24, I started healing my nervous system through the martial arts, through massage therapy, through chakra therapy, through energy medicine. I started learning Chinese tonic herbalism in Dallas, Texas, with an Oriental medical doctor, an OMD. And I studied Chinese medicine for 2 years in the clinic. What was so cool about my career going into the martial arts and the healing arts when I was 22 and 23, between 21 and 24, I got 8 years of schooling without being at school. Like I never went to a college. I went into the clinics and the dojos, literally by God's grace and just law of attraction. Like I was immersed in apprenticeships. I was apprenticing under fifth and eighth degree black belts, fifth and sixth generation practitioners in Chinese medicine, chiropractic, kinesiology. And within it, by the time I was 25, I had already had about 15,000 hours of training in holistic medicine from
Wow.
like 20 25. Now, 18 years later, I have 50,000 hours of training in holistic medicine. I've worked in over 3 clinics worldwide. And back then, I was just having fun learning health. Like I went through lots of detoxification. I learned how to clean my colon, my liver, infection. My skin cleared up within about 2 years. And now people look at me and they never even believe that I was a drug user and covered in pimples and acne. Because when people see me, they're like, "You glow." I'm like, well, I don't always tell my kryptonite story, but here it is. It's like going through Chinese medicine, going through kinesiology, going through detox. And then around age 24 and 25, I healed myself permanently of all addiction and got sober and clear for the first time in 10 years. And that's when my spiritual gifts opened up. I began to receive clear instruction from the divine. I began meditating every day and never looked back. And I started working with mystical arts and sciences of healing, like the stuff that most healers you see have never heard of or talked about. So I started diving deep into the esoteric arts of gemstone energy medicine, working with invisible power, working with visualization, imagination, prayer, decree, white magic, and how to heal through the powers of invocation, prayer, decree, potions, powers, oils. And I just got really into the mystical arts of healing because I'd already studied physical and emotional health for 5 years. I was like, well, let me just go down the rabbit hole. So I went down the rabbit hole and learned all this mystical stuff that I'm still not teaching today. It's just, I'm holding it inside until I feel safe to give it to the world.
Yeah,
And
it's about the
yeah,
timing. You will know when it's the right time.
yeah. And, my healing has been a journey of personal awareness and detoxification and being able to love what's unlovable and touch what's untouchable and do the healing I need to do to become a powerful healer. There's an archetype called the wounded healer in the realms of archetypes. And every healer comes into the planet with a wound. Well, I healed my wounds. I'm not saying that from a place of pride. It's like I've done the work, 50,000 hours of training. I've done, so much healing on myself that now I'm qualified to help others heal because I understand the pain and the toxicity and the darkness and the journeys people go through all the way through cancer. You and I have had a lot of conversations about cancer and how people overcome that emotionally, physically, spiritually. So right around age 20, 25 and 26, I fell in love with my wife, Crystal, who I mentioned is my chief operating officer, graphic designer, copywriter, and email designer. She does most of the back end of my business, and I'm just out there teaching, and shining. She's a superwoman, yeah. So Kristen and I fell in love, and she was a personal trainer, massage therapist. I was a life coach, massage therapist, energy worker, and we just got to know each other, fell in love. We sold everything we owned, except for 12 boxes in a bag. We left Dallas, Texas. I was living in Dallas at the time. We traveled the country for a year and a half, living out of our car and credit cards. So we just got in our Prius with the seats down in 2005 and just traveled the country for a year and a half. We ended up in Mill Valley, Northern California. We went 95% raw and vegan. We were living in close to the redwood forest there and doing like amazing raw food retreats and potlucks and festivals. And the Northern California lifestyle is like beautiful, the way they live up there. And then we from Northern California, I read a book called Spiritual Nutrition by Dr. Gabriel Cousins, who's one of the world's pioneers of the raw food movement. He started it in the 80s. And most people weren't even into raw foods or superfoods back then. So we went to the Tree of Life from Mill Valley, and my wife got hired as the front desk supervisor. I became hired as the spa director. And the Tree of Life was my playground and also my initiation. So like while at the Tree of Life, it was a spiritual fasting retreat center specializing in 7-day, 14-day, and 21-day detoxification programs, and also reversing diabetes in 21 days. And diabetes is a big problem in our world today. It's almost the leading cause of death next to heart disease and cancer, but it's probably going to eclipse those in the next 5 years. And at our healing center, I was the spa director. So I created these advanced detoxification therapies to support spiritual fasting programs because I already had 8 years of training and about 30,000 hours of experience. So I had fun. I created all these fun little integrating, massage therapy, hydrotherapy, essential oil therapies, colon hydrotherapy, light therapy, sound therapies. And then all this was in the spa alone. And then we also had meditation, Shabbat, and Native American Sweat Lodge, and Agnihotra. And there was 4 spiritual traditions at the Tree of Life. So I got immersed in mystical Judaism and mystical Hinduism and Native American religion while I was there.
Wow.
So that was a once in a lifetime opportunity because now it's closed down. It's not there anymore. So I was there for 2 years and I began to see with my own eyes the power of the ray of life, which are the colors of the rays of our foods, and the river of life, which is the structured, highly electrolyte rich waters. I began to see the ray of life and the river of life go in and heal people through spiritual fasting programs and also a raw food diet. But it wasn't always all about raw foods. That was just part of the program. And I left the Tree of Life still struggling financially. I wanted to really become successful while I was there, but they didn't have a platform or a business model at all. It was very much a poverty consciousness for most of the employees while they were there. And you know how that is.
Yeah.
A lot of people who work for others, you're not going to thrive until you start a business. That's just how that's how the economy is. It's wired to put people in debt and just to go paycheck to paycheck. So I wanted to get out of that rat race. And here I am with 14 years experience in holistic medicine, trained by 3 of the finest holistic medical doctors in the world, and I'm broke. And I'm in debt. I'm $80,000 in debt. I leave the Tree of Life, I'm in debt, but I have my health. I get to Austin, Texas, and I land at a 7-acre property with a mentor named David Balhars. And David became one of my first real strong male mentors. And then another man showed up, David Favor, and then Robert Tennyson Stevens. And before I knew it, 6 months later, I was hosting live events at a conscious community and healing center in Austin that was just kind of fell in my lap. And we called it the New Earth Center. And New Earth was my vision for healthcare. It's I really see myself as a pioneer in so many different movements. But there's a saying, pioneering doesn't pay. So, and it doesn't. Pioneers who create new paradigms don't usually get paid unless they understand business. So when I got to Austin, I started mentoring with very powerful entrepreneurs about osmosis. I got on a lot of email lists, Dan Kennedy, Greg Hapstreet, and Jeff Walker. I started learning from all the free content I could. And by 2012, I launched a citywide raw food and juice cleanse called Cleanse ATX and created my first information product. It was a $37 product. And it was all on a wish and a prayer. I had just read Napoleon Hill's The Law of Success in 16 Lessons. I just learned about vision power kits and dream building. And I was healing all my fears of poverty, fear of lack, fear of what others think of me, leading. All that was starting to heal in me. So I caught up in emotional body where my physical body was. It started to match and meet itself. So then I launched this citywide raw food and juice cleanse, and I got $7,000 in scholarships. I was in a startup company at the time, manufacturing raw foods for Whole Foods, and we did the main event at the Whole Foods global headquarters in downtown Austin, and we did 10 days of live events. 340 people purchased the program online, which was a huge success for the launch. Yeah, and we made about $25,000-$30,000 for our startup company, and invested some money in facilitating the cleanse. But it was the first time in Texas and in Austin that a cleanse had been initiated citywide. I had 6 juice bars all participating and sponsoring for the cleanse, and it was a huge undertaking, and I did it. And then I saw the power of an idea coming to fruition, and since Cleanse ATX, I've launched 4 or 5 other information products. None of them have been successful, but it's all been a learning journey for me. And my mission now is to inspire 1,000 leaders to help 1 million mothers, fathers, and families, and executives, entrepreneurs renew their minds, cleanse their bodies, and live a purpose-driven life in both health and wealth. Because one thing I've noticed working at the Tree of Life, working with these powerful healers and entrepreneurs, is it's a rare commodity to have true radiant health and true wealth. People either climb the mountain and sacrifice their health to get wealthy, or they focus on their health, but they don't overcome their financial blocks.
Exactly.
And they don't, so it's I have health and I have a certain amount of wealth. I'm making 6 figures working part-time, and I don't work hard. I work smarter. But I saw this huge gap in the marketplace. So that's kind of my journey over the past 18 years. And I'm still in Austin. I'm still growing my online business. I'm still helping others heal and thrive at all levels of life.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. It's it's an inspiring journey for sure. And like I say to most people, usually it starts with you. Like you started by working on yourself, healing yourself before you can go out there and teach and heal others. And something that we see a lot nowadays is a lot of people who go and skip the implementation part. They learn something, they want to teach it right away, and they don't really implement it in themselves. And I think that is such an important, not just proof that it works, but it gives you conviction as well and confidence that, what, if this worked for me, why wouldn't it work for you? I also
Yeah.
know that I don't know if you want to share that. I know that at some point you changed your name because, well, I know you told me this story, but I don't know if you'd like to share how that happened.
Oh yeah. So my name is Arttemis Keszainn, Artemis with two T's. You don't meet many American men named Artemis. Artemis is a Greek name, and it's usually a name given to women, but it also goes both ways. It's male and female. It's androgynous in a sense. Although in Greek mythology, it was the sister of Apollo, daughter of Zeus. And Artemis was known for her wrath and her harem of nymphs. And my wife and I went through a profound spiritual metamorphosis before we went to go work at the Tree of Life. Basically, we shed our skin, our ego, and our identity, and we became made new. And we changed our lifestyle, our diet, our way of thinking, our spiritual path, and our career all within about 12 months. And that's really fast to change all that.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, and looking back on it now, I've never said those words out loud. I'm like, whoa, we did all that in 12 months. We did. We did have some. We were doing some very esoteric spiritual practices that I can share with you in private. It's not appropriate to share
For
in
sure.
public right now. After doing those very powerful spiritual practices and getting initiation of a cosmic order, we just healed a lot of our identity and became transformed. And part of that metamorphosis was a name change. We were inspired by one of our coaches, Kaylin Castell. She changed her name from Carolyn Brent to Kaylin Castell and gave us a little testimonial. And we really admired this woman. So she recommended a website called The Kabbalarians, just like it sounds, with one B, kabbalarians.com. And we got a name report, a balanced name report. And then within 2 weeks, we were changing our name. And I changed my name from Dean Burris to Arttemis Keszainn. And my name is numerologically balanced for my birth date. And in Shakespeare, he says that what's in a name, a rose by any other color would smell just as sweet.
Mhm.
That's a metaphor for, the essence of our soul, like the nature of who we are as spiritual beings and as soul is pure divinity. And the names we carry are just labels, and they also have great power. So when I took on a new name, I took on a new vibration that just rippled out in my entire life. And it changed the trajectory of my life from the time I changed my name in 2006 to today. I am Artemis. When people look at me and they hear my old name, they're like, who's that?
Yeah.
And at the time I was a shy, introvert, not doing any podcast or videos or blogs or products. But now that I have this online business, it's kind of fun to have a name like Artemis.
I know. It's very, very unique. You are a very unique individual, so you had to have a very unique name. I agree that the other name is, huh?
Yeah,
There's kind of a
Dean?
disconnect.
What?
Dean, you don't look like a
Yeah.
dean.
I know, and my friends call me Artemis Prime, like Optimus
Cool.
Prime.
I love that.
So
Artemis
in
Prime.
inner circles, I'm known as Artemis Prime and Prime Time, and yeah, we make fun of my name.
So we have been talking, like you mentioned before, we have been talking a little bit about cancer, as some of our listeners might know. I've been struggling with, well, I haven't been struggling with that, but my family has. So when somebody close to you is touched by a disease like this, inevitably affects you as well, right?
Mhm.
So it's been like a family thing, even though it's been mostly my mother, my father as well. Thankfully, he got well. He's cancer free now. So now we've just been keeping up with my mother, trying to keep her as healthy and well as possible within the boundaries of the disease. And luckily, she's had a very good lifestyle, very good quality of life, I should say. What do you think from your experience? Because I know you've worked with a lot of people. I don't know how many people you've worked with over the last 18 years, but I'm sure you've worked personally with people, helped them heal themselves too. Um, What
Hmm.
can people do to prevent this? Because I've read so much on cancer, but I haven't read that much on other diseases. But in the end, most of them, diabetes, heart disease, most of them have the same origins, a lot of times.
Yeah.
So, what do you think our listeners can do, especially entrepreneurs listening who are so concerned about profit, about moving fast, that they overlook their health? What can people do
Hmm.
to prevent disease like cancer and stuff?
That's a great question. It's kind of fun to ask that question to someone like me because of my life experience.
Yeah.
Like, you're not just talking to a health coach or a medical doctor, you're talking to someone who's been in the trenches and worked with cancers and seen people heal from it and die from it. And I know the cause of it. I know the multiple layers of how you heal it. And
Hmm.
I've seen it healed, and I've seen people. So it's like I have a unique perspective on cancer. And the first thing for business owners to do is to let go of the names of diseases, because diseases are not real and they do not exist. You want to think in terms of systems and solutions: digestive system, lymphatic system, kidneys and adrenals, endocrine system. You want to think about nature and the laws of nature. Like, the body does not know names of disease. It knows toxicity, acidosis, and genetic weakness. And
Exactly.
so every one of us come into life with a certain amount of genetic constitution. And those who get cancer early in life have a weak constitution. Those who get cancer late in life have a strong constitution. That's the first thing to understand. The second thing is important to understand is that if you're going to heal any chronic disease, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So just bringing more fruit and vegetable juices, particularly the yellow, the orange, and the green rays. You notice right now I'm drinking raw lemonade, and lemons are the most anti-cancer fruit on the planet.
Hmm.
Raw lemons, because cancer is not a disease of the body; it's a disease of the lymphatic system. And the body is 20% blood and 80% lymph. So when we label a patient with cancer, they actually have a congested, constipated lymph system that's been brewing for 20 or 30 years. So if, as an entrepreneur, what you want to do is you want to start waking up in the morning and drinking high water fruit and vegetable juices, or just raw lemonade, like I teach in my program, my 10-day challenge. And you start bringing in the vitamin C, the astringent, the sour flavors in their liquid form every morning. If you just do that, that also gives you minerals, energy, and more clarity. Fruits and vegetables are how we heal the body. Now, there's a lot of hype around bulletproof diets, ketogenic diets, high
Mm.
protein diets, high fat diets. None of that heals disease. Fats do not heal the body. Fruits and vegetables heal the body. And it's so funny when you hear someone like me say that, you're like, well, that's kind of common sense. But why are they pushing all of these high fat, bulletproof, keto, paleo diets? Is because it's just fads, it's just trends.
Mm.
And you have to be careful of who you listen to when it comes to healing any disease, because most people aren't working with the laws of nature and the laws of cure like I do. Like, that's how I get people well. Um, and because, like, when you're healing and preventing diseases, you're going to do it through yearly detoxification, hydration, mineral rich and nutrient rich lifestyle. And so the easiest way is for an entrepreneur to get more hydration is raw lemonade, watermelon juice, green juices. More nutrient dense is to start making smoothies for morning and mid afternoon and start loading it with wild blueberries, green powders, superfood powders, bee pollen. And I teach all this in my 10-day challenge too. So it's like you need to get more hydration and more nutrient saturation. Even if you eat all organic produce, you're
Mm.
still not getting enough living structured water and enough nutrient density what I like to teach people is, if you want to be a high performing entrepreneur, you need to fire on all 10 cylinders. And even if you're just eating a plant based diet, you're still not firing on all 10 cylinders until you start to achieve nutrient saturation. And that's with the superfoods, the elixirs, the smoothies. And as you make this a lifestyle, and by the way, it's delicious. You don't have to take anything out of your diet. You just add these things into your diet,
Yeah.
these elixirs and juices and smoothies, and they're delicious when you make them for my recipes, because I'm a raw gourmet chef and I always put delicious flavors in them first. My philosophy is, if it doesn't taste good, they're not going to do it. So it
I
all tastes
agree.
good.
I agree. I remember doing this detox program with Tony Robbins a couple years ago at his Life Mastery event. They would give us this onion tasting juice with garlic and onion. And I know garlic and onion are very healthy, but it was so horrible, the taste. I
I
mean, it was,
know.
I remember it was a time of the day because it was a 5 day program. For 5 days, no solid foods, just juices and oils and this weird
Hmm.
juices. And there was a time of the day where they would come with the trays because we were in the seminar room learning about health, about wealth, and they would come with the trays. And my husband and I, well, we were not married yet, but we would look at it and say, "Oh my God, no, it's the onion one. Oh my God, I'm gonna throw up." And I'm sure you cannot imagine how bad it was. But I'm sure that you can get that nutrition, like you just said, and still have it taste good because so many people have this
Absolutely.
prejudice against the green juices. Like my dad, for example, whenever I would make this green smoothie with banana and green powders and spinach, he would
Hmm.
look at it and say, no, that's green. Like green equals, it's going to taste bad. So you have to break that belief, of course, break
Yeah.
that pattern. Um, what do you think is the is the easiest way for people to start with this kind of recipe? I know you have your challenge, and we'll talk about that at the end. You can share
Yeah,
the links so
yeah.
people
The
can
most
check it out.
important thing is to give yourself permission to have the sweetness of life again in the form of fruits, melons, berries, and smoothies again, because the fruits are where we get carbohydrates and glucose and fructose for brain health. And as an entrepreneur, this is a really interesting fact. And I want to drop in a lot of core, solid principles for your listeners. Your brain is 5% of your body's mass, but it consumes 20% of your glucose and fructose. And a lot of people get on these ketogenic diets, they think carbohydrates are bad, and they blame carbohydrates for obesity and
Yep.
diabetes. Carbohydrates were never the problem. It was too much fat in the Western diet, and all that fat started clogging up the blood, and that's what's creating insulin resistance and liver disease, which then creates type 2 diabetes. And so, when you start to decrease the toxic trans fats and cooked fats, and you increase fruits and vegetables, as an entrepreneur, you want to be feeding your brain the fuel it's designed to burn for optimal cognitive function, clarity, performance, funnel building, creativity, expression. Like, you need carbohydrates for that to really work. And what's the cleanest burning source of carbohydrates on the planet? Fruits, melons, and berries. And fruit is not sugar; it's actually a carbohydrate with structured water, antioxidants, vitamins, minerals, and fiber. And so all those nutrients, just have a fruit meal every morning. Just add in fruits. Add in a whole half sun-ripened cantaloupe, half papaya. Do a wild blueberry smoothie with a banana and 4 dates and some protein powder and green powder. I have these recipes in my program too. But just start your morning with fruit, and then for healthy snacks and lunch and dinner, do fruits and vegetables. And for your proteins, work with like beans and quinoa and millet and buckwheat and a little bit of hummus, and just always eat your fruits by themselves. Have healthy lunches and dinners, but just start your day with the fruit kingdom. Why? Is because when you wake up in the morning, you're dehydrated and your brain has shrunk. And so when you put a high water meal in your body first thing in the morning, whether it's raw lemonade and a melon or a green juice and a fruit smoothie, you are saturating every cell in your body with the cleanest burning fuel and water to flush out the toxins from the night before and feed your brain glucose and fructose. And as entrepreneurs, we want to get into a mindset of smaller meals are greater frequencies. So we want to have like a bunch of prepared meals in the fridge, juices, elixirs, and smoothies, healthy fruits and vegetables, healthy snacks. And we want to kind of plan for the day. So if we're doing a 10-hour day, we've got 3 or 4, prepared meals in the fridge that are high water, high mineral, nutrient dense. And then we just grab and go back to the computer. We grab and go back to the call. We grab and go back to the meeting. And, like, what I teach in my programs a lot is the mindset to make sure that you're firing all 10 cylinders and that you're feeding your cells the core nutrition you need in the form of juices, elixirs, smoothies, and also the healthy lunch and dinner menu that I provide in my program too. And you can eat out too and do this. It's like you just have to know how to do it. And so I teach that as well. And so just add fruits, add more water-rich foods for breakfast. And if that's the only thing you did, you would start to feel your brain work better. But what do we do as entrepreneurs? We get up, we don't drink water, we might go to coffee, we might not even eat anything with carbohydrates until noon. And then we're going to more stimulants or more healthy food. And then by the middle of the day, we're having brain fog and energy crashes. And that's because we lack the fuel
Mm.
of that day and of the several years before. So just adding in the right conscious carbohydrates and then consuming smaller amounts of greater frequency, that's how we start to repair burnout, adrenal fatigue, and brain fog, is refueling the body at a cellular level. And for those listening in the call, if you're experiencing symptoms of burnout, which is lower back pain, pains in the heels, dryness in the mouth, always thirsty, blood sugar highs and lows, also dark circles under the eyes, and
Mm.
problems with brain fog. It's like you try to relax, but you just can't chill. You feel like you're so high strung, it's even difficult to relax. These are all signs of burnout. And
Yeah.
even if I give you these dietary upgrades, you're going to feel a little better, but you're going to need to find like my program or a coach to really recharge your battery and become a high performing entrepreneur. So I just want to give that understanding to your listeners. It's like, hey, these things really work when you work them,
Yeah.
um, because your body is 100 trillion cells and two fluids, and healing burnout and fatigue can take time, but you got to start putting the right fuel in your cells and getting those two fluids, blood and lymph, water rich, mineral rich, nutrient dense. And for a lot of business owners who've been burning the candle and living off of comfort food, stimulants, traveling too much, staying up past midnight every night, these patterns have to be shifted slowly over time. And then as you shift them, you'll start to sleep better, wake up with more energy. You start understanding, what do I need to drink and consume to repair my energy, my adrenals, my brain. And then a week or two or three into my programs, you start to feel that a little extra energy, like your brain just starts to work better. And you're like, oh, right, because I'm giving my brain the glucose and fructose it needs to function. And it's so funny, like, as entrepreneurs develop the new lifestyle, they start to get better performance, but it just doesn't happen overnight. And that's another thing that entrepreneurs love, is they love being in momentum.
Yeah.
They love having that instant gratification, that they love that dopamine rush, you know, and a high energy, high performance diet is cultivated over time. It doesn't happen in a week or two. And coincidentally, that's why Bulletproof and all these biohacks are so popular, because they give you a temporary result, but it's long-term burnout consequence with them.
Hmm.
You don't heal with those biohacks.
Yeah.
You heal with fruits and vegetables and Mother Nature, and what I call the ray of life and the river of life pouring through your entrepreneurial veins and cells, so that you can become a finely tuned instrument of creative power.
Mm.
And you think of like where the power of nature comes from. The most electrically charged foods in nature are the fruits and vegetables in their high nutrient dense form, in the form of juices, smoothies, elixirs, and potions and powders. And it's like, and as you know, and getting that electricity in your body, like I have it, people see it, I live it. And I'm also now an entrepreneur, and I'm outperforming at my competition because I eat this way. It's fun. Um, and I don't get tired. And if I do, I take a nap. I take naps. I'm human too, but
Of
I also
course.
know how to feed my cells, um, and feed my brain and feed my nervous system, because like just 1 hour of focused thought on your business, spreadsheets, funnels, creating new products and designing, just 1 hour burns 300 calories. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
So yeah, so like 5 hours of being at the computer, thinking and building and videoing, you're actually burning. This has been scientifically documented, by the way. So you can burn 1,000 calories in 5 hours just thinking, and you wonder why you're so freaking hungry when you get up from these projects. Seriously. And so you do need to eat the right amount of calories, but it needs to be clean burning fuel, clean burning nutrition, so that you can be fueling every cell in your body even before you start that project. You need to have the reserves of vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and carbohydrates. Your body needs to be vibrant, like a ripe fruit and vegetable. You need to be just vibrant with this energy, so when you sit down to that project, you have fuel to burn. And when you get into the mindset and you start refueling, then it gets really fun, because you look at all your entrepreneurs around you, and they've got the dark circles in their eyes. They're dry, they're scaly, they just, some of them even look like zombies. And you're like, man,
Yeah.
burned out. And no judgment against them. That's why I'm on the planet, because we can have health and wealth if we put our body before our business.
Mm.
Healthy body equals a healthy mind. A healthy mind equals clear vision and business. And if we put our body, our business, and our profit margins before our physical health, that's when we burn out. Yeah.
Yes. It's kind of like when you see countries, politicians, they put the economy before the
The people.
earth, before the world. Huh. Okay, yeah, there's global warming, but we need to keep pumping money into the economy. So let's forget about global warming for a moment. Without a planet, there's no business.
Yeah.
And the same for us as individuals. Without a healthy body, you can't have a business. And even if you did, even if you have a business that runs on its own, you're not going to be able to enjoy it or do anything if you don't have your health.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
very key what you just said.
Health and wealth are interconnected. They're two sides of the same coin. And yet, for strong constitution people, some of our entrepreneurs that keep going and going, they burn out later because they have a high constitution. But then you have the other entrepreneur type who has a medium or low constitution, and they just can't seem to perform at the level of Tony Robbins. You know, some of these high performing entrepreneurs like Russell Brunson and Tony Robbins, like I know their constitution because I'm an iridologist. I can see it in their eyes.
Mm,
And some of these entrepreneurs are just blessed with good genes, and they can perform higher. So wherever your constitution's at, it doesn't matter.
mm.
Just learn Mother Nature and become a river of life of living foods and also high performance for your business. And let these worlds merge. And the best way for an entrepreneur to adopt this really high performance way of eating and nutrifying their body is just start your first hour of the day for your body. Like put your spirit, your spiritual practice, your hydration, and nutrition first, and sequencing. Because remember, the reason people don't get well is they do the right things in the wrong order.
Mm.
The reason business owners don't succeed in marketing is they do the right things in the wrong order of marketing, and that's your job, is to give us the proper sequence in marketing. I give them the proper sequence in health. Although I have people coming to me for marketing coaching now, but I don't do that. I was like, I do health. I don't do that. Stop
You
asking.
can leave that to me.
Yeah, I'll pass them on to you.
Pass them on to
No,
me, and
yeah,
vice versa.
totally. I think we have a long-term, beautiful relationship.
Yes, my friend.
Uh,
Because even though
yeah,
I've been studying some natural therapies and I've done a few things for the last 6 years, I would not feel capable of teaching anybody this stuff. Like I can implement it on myself, my mom, and that's where it ends. I think it's a huge responsibility to tell people how to heal themselves. So you need to have the amount of training that you have. So
yeah,
I know where to send people when they come to me and I see the signs of burnout and all of that. Talk to Artemis. Tell him Carolina sent
yeah.
you.
Yeah, and according to the Consumer Reports magazine, 27% of America, and I know you're in Chile and you have a large Hispanic audience, which is awesome. My outcome is to learn Spanish in the next 5 years
Oh,
so we can start
yes.
teaching in Spanish. Um, and actually, as a side note, I was fluent in Espanol when I was a boy. I grew up in Austin. I had a
Of
Spanish name.
course.
I had a Spanish maid named Octavia, and all she spoke was Spanish to us for the first 3 years of our life. So I was bilingual, but I lost touch with it. So I need to re-immerse myself in it. And I'm planning to because the Hispanic population has more diabetes and cancer than Caucasians.
You
And
have no idea. I mean, the amount of
yeah,
soft drinks that are consumed in South America, it's ridiculous. Even in Chile itself, like people still drink so much Coca-Cola. It's like beer. There are very few people who ever drink just a plain glass of water. Like
yeah,
if they're not drinking alcohol, they're drinking,
yeah,
juice, like fake juice, not natural juice.
yeah, not
It's
fruit
the
juices.
same.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We have a lot of work to do, Carolina, in South
we do.
America. And it's really the industrialization of those countries because if you go to the indigenous cultures, they ate whole fruits and vegetables, beans and
Yeah,
grains. The
they
original
do.
diet of your culture, indigenous, was very healthy because it was whole food, plant-based. Uh,
Plant-based,
yeah,
starches, fruits,
yeah,
vegetables.
yeah, potatoes, beans, rice, fruits, vegetables. Like that's a very healthy diet for where you're at. And yet to heal the body from disease, that diet doesn't necessarily heal the body. So you have to go a little bit more high water, nutrient dense, and lots of elixirs, juices, and smoothies. And you still can eat the beans and rice in moderation and things like that. But you need to go a little bit more alkaline and raw, and then you go back to your balance. So it's not all raw is not all right. And it's not all about fruits and vegetables. It's just learning the right sequencing. So it's like that's my job is to understand. when I'm on Facebook Live, I always lead with, "Hey, Arttemis Keszainn here. I create transformational healthcare systems that give you the right information in the right order to heal and thrive." And it's the right information in the right order, whether it's in marketing or health or business or leadership. You need to have a mentor who knows the sequence.
Mm-hmm.
And I just know the sequence for health, and I've mastered it. I've mastered it in two different traditions: Chinese medicine, Ayurvedic medicine, at 3 clinics and with 30,000 people. So now I'm like, okay, it's time to get this out into the world. And I have a passion for purpose-driven people. I like working with people like you.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of have an agenda too, because if I can help the leaders get healthy and get more heart-centered, body-centered, and earth-centered, then we're going to have a much better corporate environment and
Yeah.
entrepreneurial.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be an entrepreneurial conversation around health and wealth that will change the wealth of the world if we become health-centered. Like Tony Robbins, he's a perfect example.
He's a great example, yes. Of
Yeah,
course.
yeah, changing the wealth conversation, but also changing the health conversation. And it's all priorities. And so just make sure, for the entrepreneurs listening, you start your first hour of your day in the ray of life, the river of life, and in silence and meditation and fitness. Don't go to your smartphone, laptop, or computer until you've taken care of your body for the first 45 to 60 minutes of the day. Feed and nourish yourself.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to the computer and the smartphone and Facebook and emails before you take care of yourself, that's all reptilian brain, which is got to, have to, must, got to, have to, must. But if you start your day in the river of life and in meditation and vision, that's neocortex. You hydrate the brain with the river of life and you go into vision, and you start your day feeling the feelings of a successful company, a successful product launch, a successful business. And you cultivate that tone, that vibrational tone. And then after 30 minutes and 45 minutes of doing that, then you go to your computers and you start your day. And then that sets the tone for the entire day. And it's body, mind, business, not business, mind, body.
Mm-hmm.
So and these are things I've had to practice. I'm still getting better at it. It's not like I've mastered this, but I've mastered the degree where I have 2 YouTube channels. I have over 150 videos. I do live streams every week. I've got multiple product offerings. I love what I do. I am a high performer, but I don't work harder. I work smarter, and I put my body before my business.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a great moral to the story. For so many people listening who put their body later, who postpone themselves and put everything else before, it's time to switch. Hit the switch and go back to yourself, find your space. And I mean, there are so many people, myself included. I'm struggling still with that bad habit of looking at my phone before I do anything else.
Turn it off.
I know.
Hide it.
I need to buy an alarm clock that is not my phone. I think that's step 1, because I use it as an alarm, and then
that's a great solution. Yeah.
Yeah. So just get another alarm clock. What would you recommend to other people who might be listening to us who are also very passionate about something, like not necessarily health, but maybe something that when you first look at it, it's not that easy to monetize? Like, I know there are a lot of people who are passionate about something. Like, you're passionate about health. You said how you were working with all these people, but you were still broke at some point.
Mm-hmm.
So what changed this for you? Like, at what point did you start becoming a more savvy entrepreneur, where you were able to mix your passion for helping and healing with the business? Because I know some people who are natural healers, like they were born. Some people are just born with a gift, like energies. And I have a cousin who, she does these massages and she can heal people with Reiki and all of this stuff. But she feels bad about making money from it because she feels like it's a gift and I shouldn't be making money from it. So how do you shift that, and how was it for you?
The first thing to do, this is counterintuitive to business, but the first thing to do is to define your dream and cultivate a burning desire for its achievement. Like, I had a lot of health knowledge, a lot of skills, but I was living in survival. So I used more law of attraction based tools, which I wrote down my ideal scene. I wrote down where I wanted to be in 30 years. I started pulling myself out of my reptilian brain. Now, simultaneously and concurrently, after I defined my dream and wrote it down and I started putting attention on it, I learned a powerful skill called video. And I built a YouTube channel. and I started doing content. Like Grant says, at first you're going to suck, and then you're going to suck less, and then you're actually going to suck so less you ought to be good, and then you can make some money on video. So it's like I've now done hundreds of videos on YouTube. I mean, I have 2 YouTube channels, and I've published over 150 videos on those 2 channels, probably close to 200 now. And now my videos rock. Like, videos have call to actions. They're monetized. They're capturing names and emails, and those emails are going into funnels. And anyway, so I learned a skill. Because like everyone says, like, live a passionate life, do what you love. If you're a healer, do your passion. No, that's false. Get some skills, define your dream, and then go learn some skills that you can eventually monetize. So if the first skill I really mastered was YouTube and video, and I just if you're a healer and you want to become successful online as a healer, you need to go duplicate, not innovate. So find other successful healers, look at their videos, look at the way they're doing their videos, and just copy it. But you also need to copy it within your certain niche that you're willing to focus on. So like my niche for the longest time was older women who were not well, and just kind of giving them like a lot of advanced iridology and detox protocols. And I realized that wasn't scalable. So I started finding new niches, and so now this niche of burnout, fatigue, and overwhelm is something that I'm really enjoying, because I can reach a much larger audience. But I can also it's also I can work within a certain blue ocean of like entrepreneurs or business builders or real estate agents, who need the health coaching. But so you have to really niche down. So you develop some skills first, and that might take you 2 years of going through your programs and making mistakes. It's like, this is not a get rich quick scheme, and you need to have your money, your cash flow flowing while you're developing your skills. So don't think your business is going to pay for your bills the first couple of years. No, make sure you have solid cash flow, develop your skill set, keep generating video and content, sharpening the sword as keep doing your cuts every day. And then eventually you start making a little money trickles in. And then you realize that, oh, wait a minute, as a healer, I can't be everything to everybody. So I need to niche down and then master that product, that funnel, that
yes.
Within that niche. And that was my mistake 2 years ago, is I just didn't focus enough. And now being with Russell and the 2 Comma Club, and, really learning the sequence, just like focus on that one funnel until it makes 6 figures. It's like, duh.
That's it.
But I had to choose what I wanted the funnel to be, and that's where a lot of healers and entrepreneurs get stuck. It's like, well, I know all these things. What do I sell? It's like, I don't know what to sell. Mm-hmm. Or we get into what's called the knowledge disease and syndrome. We know too much, and then we dabble, and that was we know too much and we dabble, and we wonder why we're not making 7 figures. Is because we haven't focused. It's so funny how this went from health coaching to business coaching, like in this podcast. I love it.
Well, that was my goal for the call, to talk a little bit about both, because I think it's a great formula. It's I'm very passionate about both topics, and I know you are too. Of course, your primary thing is healing and health, but you had to learn the skills to allow you to live from that passion. So, there are a lot of healers and artists who, keep convincing themselves that, oh no, but I'm not a salesperson. I'm not in sales.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an artist, or I'm a doctor, or I'm a healer, I'm this and that. And that's also wrong. Like everybody needs to learn those skills if they ever want to get their gifts out to the world. Nobody else is going to do it for you.
Yeah, and some people have different strengths and weaknesses. Like, for those who know the disc profile, I'm 99I. And I have the most I of probably anyone you've ever met, besides probably Russell. But like, I love being on stage. I love being seen. I'm good on video, Even though I was shy early in life, that was because I had emotional blocks. I didn't know my strengths. Well, now I'm stepping into them, doing lots of video. Not everybody's going to be strong at video, but you might be good at podcasting or blogging. And you just find that medium, and then you master that skill, and then you monetize that skill. So like, if you haven't done a disc, do your disc, find out where your strengths are, match your medium to your personality type, go out, master that skill, and then monetize it. And just know that's a 2 to 5 year project for everyone who's just thinking about starting a business. 2 to 5 years. And the only way we make these things go faster is with mentors like you, people who've been there and done that, and lots of money.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a good mentor and a lot of money, you can do it in about 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you have a mentor and you're just paying the bills, it's going to take you a little longer because you just got to be patient. And that's been my struggle too, is because I came into Austin with $80,000 of debt. Well, I got debt free in about 3 years, but I didn't get to six figures until like last year. So it's like, oh, it's only within the past 2 years of an 18-year career that I've had money to invest in my own business. I mean, think about that. Like if I had the wealth consciousness, if I had done the dream building and the books and audios 15 years ago, I would be so much farther along. But everything in divine perfect order. So it's like,
no regrets.
Yeah, no regrets. It's because I am who I am today because of that pain struggle. And here's the thing for the business owners listening: master the game of money. Get your cash flow up. Love money, want money, make money. Get multiple streams of income as soon as you can. I have 8 streams of income right now, and my 8th stream is something that's going to make me ton of money. I just love it. And I had the skill set and the automation to make it work. So master the game of money and make money important as you're building your business, making sure that you're living below your means as you build your business. As soon as you start making 6 figures, don't live like you're making 6 figures. Live like you're making 50 grand a year, and then keep reinvesting in yourself. Books and audios every day. Like we've already seen each other at 2 events this year.
There you go.
It's like, 5 to 10 grand to get there and back.
That's what we do.
Like, we invest in ourselves. And you continue to invest in yourself, and it does pay off, but you have to live below your means until you're making high 6 figures, 7 figures. And if you overspend in the first 3 to 5 years, you hold yourself back later on because you didn't invest. So make sure that you're not only developing the new skill sets as a business owner, but you're also living below your means, reinvesting in yourself every year, so that you can develop even more of the skills you need to succeed. And then you've got to have a coach and a mentor along the way. If you did not have get one as soon as possible. And if you can't afford one right now, plug into the free funnels until you can buy into a program. You know the importance of that. So
yes,
got to have a mentor.
Got to have a mentor.
Yeah.
Arttemis, my friend, thank you so much for today. Got so much value. Thank you.
Yeah. God bless you and your family.
Yeah, God bless you too.
I'm praying over your mother and sending lots of pure positive energy and mercy, love, compassion, and forgiveness, and healing at all levels for you and all of your family, and to everyone listening right now. Also, I send you the same blessing.
Thank you. That's beautiful. You're a beautiful person, beautiful soul, and I look forward to see you again. Who knows when and where, but I know we will. And in the meantime,
in Chile, speaking Spanish.
Chile, yes, maybe we'll do an event or something together. I would love that. We have so much that we can do.
Totally.
Yes, and thanks to everybody watching and listening. Thank you guys so much. I will put Arttemis details here below, his website, so you can go check him out, watch his YouTube videos. He has some really great free content if you're not able to invest yet in his programs. But either way, this guy is all about giving. So love you. Thank you so much, Arttemis.
Yeah, see you next time.
See you next time.